Gamers, we're back. I, of course, your host, SecretDoves. It's been a little while. It's been a hot minute. It's been a lot going on. To be honest, I really didn't know what to say about the story. I truly, like, what the fuck? What the hell? And it's almost over, which is the moment that I've been waiting for. Because, yeah, it was sort of hard to figure out what the fuck was going on until it was all said and done. Because it could have ended at any time. Anything could have happened. All sorts of random shit happened. Literally. What an apocalypse. What a way to do your Devilman apocalypse. Just... the guy made a fucking B movie. He made a B movie. Why? Incredible. I mean, Chainsaw Man Part 1 was a real proper action, superhero, explosions. Part 2 is like Part 1, Reze arc, Reze movie, big up, has the shark tornado reference. Well, Part 2 is Shark Tornado. It is Shark Tornado. But before we get more into it, once again we are back with the Public Safety Special Broadcast. I'm, of course, your host, SecretDoves, Public Safety Outreach Division 18 Vice Captain. I might be the captain now. I might actually just be the captain of the entire America branch because all the states got vaporized. Everyone got eaten by bugs. Thankfully, I am coming to you from the social media bunker. No bugs in here yet. I had a contract with the War Devil. Well, she got eaten by bugs. Although she's still alive. So the contract may be still in effect. No one knows. No one knows what the fuck is going on. No one knows what the hell that was. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while to process it all. This one's a thinker. This one's a thinker. This one's a stinker. And so I'm back in anticipation of the very last chapter to say, look at the final arc of Part 2 proper. Of course, who fucking knows what's about to happen in terms of what that means for what everything that was going on. You know, this guy, he's got away with his last pages. He really loves an ending. You know, the endings are nice. They are nice. That's all there is to it. He's good at it. He's good at the endings. I'm excited to see a lot of things still in the air, which is crazy. Before I do that, the final prediction of what will happen in the next chapter. Actually impossible to do, by the way. The whole concept of the podcast got destroyed by the guy we were talking about. He said, you're not going to know what's going on, so you won't be able to discuss it. Hey, you're not gonna know what's gonna happen next, so don't even bother guessing. Well, okay, man, that's kind of my whole show. You kind of fucked up my whole thing, man. What's that? What's... Are you good, Fujimoto? Now that's one thing I want to talk about. Main point in part 2. Some really interesting stuff going on with the way this story is written. Doesn't necessarily mean it was entertaining to read for the people on the ground. Although, I mean, his chapters are so short, it's actually kind of impossible to tell how his writing works week to week. It's his own fault too for taking breaks all the time, but also everyone should be taking breaks all the time. He took a bunch of breaks and he still got fucking burned out because there's still no assistance in the industry, because they're still not paying any more money and everybody's rent's going up, so nobody's doing these shit jobs anymore. Or rather, they're cool jobs, but they don't pay any money. So, oh well. I've already said my piece about the state of assistance in the industry, and I mean, everybody already knew this if you were paying attention. There's a long time coming, the assistant shortage. You know, you young weeb artists out there in the world, I'm gonna move to Japan and become a manga assistant. I mean, I bet you can. I bet you will get a job easily. You probably can do it remotely. But is it going to be worth the time that you spend on it? It's not that interesting. It's a lot of applying black ink to large areas and like drawing random background characters. Yeah. Not a whole lot of... I don't know. It's not that interesting, and it pays really bad. So not many people do it. But he finished it. He burned out, but he finished it. And he stabilized his art style. He had some really nice pages, really nice fucking pages, really nice layouts, really nice illustrations coming through. In the final stretch, very cool ideas, very crazy way to move the story forward in a way such that you really don't know what's gonna happen next. Even as we're at the very end. That's crazy. I'm returning to the question of, is Fujimoto good? Probably in his material life, he's fine, right? He's balling. His series is moving. Less than it used to, but I mean, more than okay, like anybody could hope, right? You know what I mean? You know, sales that I don't know, any manga artist in the world would bend over backwards to try and get. Still doing fine. Shonen Jump contracts are relatively generous, so he's probably making a decent amount of money. So he should be comfortable. And yet he's, in his writing, he feels very dissatisfied with the world. Now that's very fair, because even if you have a lot of money, this world is very dissatisfying. Which is not like a really populism right now is all material, because the rich guys are like so greedy and just shit at what they do that it's just very valid to just hate on them because they're sucking so bad. But you have to keep in mind, the world still sucks even if you're rich. It's really bad. I mean, just look at what's going on in the state of the world, and that's what Tatsuki Fujimoto does in part 2. And that's why I think it comes off as very angry, because I think he is angry. It feels to me like he's expressing a lot of anger and frustration at the world and the way that it is, and the way that the people in it are, and the way that people suffer within those systems, and also sort of with how it feels so out of control, right? One of the things in this story is that the characters don't really do anything, because they don't really have any options or like real agency. They are presented with agency. They are presented with possibilities, but their access to those possibilities is all precluded on them giving up their agency anyway. You didn't have a choice anyway. Not really. Every aspect of the world is against the characters at every turn, including each other and themselves, which is really just like, damn, man, that's kind of... What the hell, dude? What the hell? Ugh. He's not happy. He's not happy. Or I should say, in this work, he is not expressing his joy and his passion. This is something he did in Look Back. In Chainsaw Man, it's all about fear. Fear. And domination. And abuse. You know what I mean? And apocalypse. Manipulation. Control. Death. Oh. It's very Devilman. You know, it's so just like Chuny, Devilman, Kamen Rider. You know, back in the very beginning, when Death shows up outside the aquarium, and she's standing on the roof there looking at him, ominously, like the Death Devil would do. You know what I mean? Like the Death Devil would be doing. I thought, man, this is very Kamen Rider. This is very, you know, tokusatsu, ranger story kind of. Someone just showing up on the roof with like no in-universe explanation, just like they're just there because it's like a vibe. I thought, man, this is a very B movie. People are going to be talking about, does this character have teleportation powers? And it's like, no. This is supposed to be like on a soundstage. Part 2, we're canceling the anime. We're doing a made-for-TV suit series, tokusatsu. We're building the Denji fucking cosplay. There are some crazy cosplays out there. Right? They can find some nice shit out there, you know? You see some stuff on TikTok, it's popping. Like the chains are fucking spinning and shit. Could be sick. Could be sick. You know, imagine Denji, instead of doing like high flying Mappa, Sakuga action scene, he's just a dude swinging some chainsaws around, and then the camera like spins around to make it look like it's cooler than it really is. Could be dope. Are you feeling it? I'm there with it. I think in the end, that is truly what he went in for. He locked in those vibes and rode that all the way. There was still some really cool cinematic stuff and crazy things. And Tokyo got nuked. The moon was gonna blow up. Not really. Legs got erased and came back. You know what I mean? Denji was to the very end trying to fuck, which nobody likes that, Denji. It's not true. Yoru did, but whatever. Yoru won. Yoru just straight up won. She got eaten by bugs, but you know. Oh well. She did not stop the apocalypse. This was not it. That is so funny. That is so fucking funny. I really appreciate that. I really like the way that the apocalypse went down. I think it's so fucking funny that it just occurred. You know what I mean? They didn't try to fight it. In fact, it was their fight for the faith of humanity, which caused the apocalypse to happen in this universe or whatever. Because who knows what the fuck? What are we talking about here? What kind of story even is this anyway? We'll come back to that. Couldn't save the world. Didn't really have any options. Just our two protagonists just bowled along by each other and the devils and humanity and these cosmic scale forces that have no interest in their lives. That just like fucking destroy all their shit, take control of their bodies, take control of their of how the world sees them, destroy their lives. Incredible. I mean, damn. He's kind of cooking, though. It is kind of what's going on. And he's expressing that in this sort of like very exaggerated way. But you look at like, now there's maybe a nuclear war gonna start. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. No one can afford anything. Everybody's losing their jobs because of AI. What else is there to say? I mean, it's just insane, horrible shit all over the world. Nothing good. In Japan, prices are up, wages are down, or rather, wages are same as they ever were, which is not very good. You know, it was like there was this cultural moment of like, let's stop overworking ourselves to death. And now I was just back to doing it again because it was actually just like a material realities kind of thing. Oh well. Oh shit. We're broke. Oh fuck. COVID fucked us. That is kind of what happened to everybody. COVID fucked everybody, and then now everything's fucked up. So there's that. You know, it has not been good, and it has been getting worse. And I think in terms of capturing that feeling, the feeling of living life, and the ways that these like huge scale forces connect to people's lives and what happens when they do connect. And hint, it's really bad. When these forces come into people's lives, they fuck them all up, and they destroy those people, and they exploit them, and they control them, and they manipulate them, and they dangle autonomy in front of you. What are you gonna choose? And then they fuck you either way. It didn't even matter. Yeah. That sucks. I agree, Tatsuki Fujimoto. That sucks. And through part 2, that's pretty much what we get. We get this string of vignettes passing through the various institutions of society. The government, of both sides of the government, the executive branch, that is to say public safety, the administration proper, shout out, respect, rest in peace. I'm still in here, I'm still in the bunker, by the way. We haven't got any money or contact. Also, we can only hear bugs from the outside. Hello, anybody? They're all dead. I don't know. I'm losing my... Nobody's going to see this video. They all got eaten by bugs. We get to see the executive branch. We also get to see the legislative branch. Those fuckers. Those old fucks in Kyoto. We get to meet them. And they are all little shitheads. They're either cowards or just super evil. Which... you got them. You did actually get them. You got them. Cook their ass. True. And they're pedos. And they're weirdos. And they are willing to grind children to paste in order to fund their own lives. You know what I mean? It's true. We all know it. But it's on the record now. All the files are out. Everything is in there. Everybody knew it. And it was in there. And it's like, well, shit. Right again, Fujimoto. Not even, lower down. Like, murdering 10,000 children. Come on, man. It's 2026. This is light work. That'd have been probably just this week. One of these guys murdered 10,000 children. Somewhere. Probably. What are we talking about? Talking about decades-long human trafficking rings and that kind of shit. Come on. Pick it up, man. You're washed. In that regard, he's washed. Doesn't hate these guys enough. I don't know. I can't tell this from the writing at all. I do wonder if he's ever frustrated. Like, man, my, shocking horror of... the depravity of society is not even, that depraved. It's not even close to as depraved as real stuff. Especially considering the real stuff is real. That makes it way more depraved as well. So there's that. And I will say... Fujimoto is not a Ursula Le Guin school of author. You know what I mean? He's not using fiction to find whatever, philosophical whatever. He's just expressing himself. He's just saying how it is. He's just showing you how things are. What to do about them? I don't know, man. Why do you care what this guy thinks about how the world should be? He writes manga all day. He watches movies and tweets about them. What does he know about anything? It's manga. If I wanted to know about how to cook up a manga, I know who I'm going to. You know what I mean? If you're looking for advice about a storytelling, illustration, you know what I mean, manga paneling, this is your guy. If you want to know about how society should change for the better, what needs to happen in the relations between men and women for things to da-da-da-da-da-da. Right? Yes, those are all very pertinent questions related to the story in question, and he puts those ideas in there, and he expresses the really fucked up realities of all of these things. He captures them in a way and puts them on the page. And then he just sort of shows you how fucked up they are. It just makes them really fucked up. And then makes them destroy the entire world. And then says, look, guys, guess we're fucked. Or whatever. That's just a fucking story. It's just a fucking story. It's just a fucking story which captured those realities, expressed it, put it into an apocalypse, and is gonna do something else. I don't know. Who knows what he's gonna. Maybe he will. That's a possibility for the last chapter. Maybe he will come out and get to some kind of like, this is what I really think about all this shit. That'd be cathartic for him. I don't think people would really like it, probably, because usually, everyone has their own worldview, and that's the one that they have. And if you come in and you're like, well, this is mine, they're gonna be like, nuh-uh, dude. I see it differently. Actually, that's not my perspective. What the fuck are you doing expressing your perspective? Shut the fuck up. Are you evil? You might be evil, dude. That's sort of how things are nowadays. I don't know. I have whatever. That has nothing to do with Chainsaw Man. Except for, well, in terms of the behavior of people talking about it online. But that's honestly just the state of the internet. So one big thing about part 2, no hope. Shit was just going bad because it was. Because that's what's going on. Because shit's just kind of shit. And everything sucks. And nobody cares about the sanctity of human life. Yeah. And he's 100% correct about that. So, can't hate. I thought he captured it very well. I thought he really put his audience through the ringer with it. No one was very happy with what was going on with the characters. And I think that's all very fair because pretty much only bad things happened to them. Yep. That was it. There was the motorcycle scene that everybody liked. That was like fun. And after that, only bad things happened until the world ended. Wow. That's cool. That's cool. There were some moments of development, though. There were some processing and understanding and like changes that happened within that, which were interesting. But none of it led to a solution to the fundamental problem, which is that the world is really kind of just fucked. Yep, there are just inevitable apocalyptic forces in motion, and the world is fucked, and humanity is moving desperately, flailing about, not really like getting a concerted effort at the issue, just sort of selfishly pursuing their own goals, in spite of the fact that everything will soon come crashing down. And Denji the same thing. And I didn't fail to save the world. I didn't even fucking try to save the world. Genuinely never tried to save the world. Didn't give a shit about Apocalypse. Didn't even know what the fuck was going on. That's so funny. He wasn't listening because he was distracted by her panties, and he fucked up the whole plan, and the world went to shit. Incredible. Denji sucks. That's the other thing about part 2, is that Denji sucks. Tadashi Fujimoto does not like this Denji kid. He thinks he sucks. He thinks he's like a... You know what I mean? Like a low-life dumbass. He has empathy for Denji. He understands Denji. He renders Denji's perspective in this really like excruciatingly frustrating way, and really gets at sort of the road that these kind of young men follow in getting, lost in this world that is destroying them specifically. Destroying them specifically to fuel its horrible machinations. But they themselves have no idea what the fuck's going on. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand the situation. Denji can't read, so it's tough. Like, it's bad. And that's the thing about Denji. He was always a really rough protagonist. But in part 1, he wasn't really the protagonist. It was really like the Makima show. Reze arc is when people like him the best. That's when he's the most protagonistic. Is really like his story, beating Reze and developing feelings and being betrayed and coming around and making his resolve at the end. But through the rest of part 1, Denji, not Chainsaw Man, but Denji, the guy. It's really that active or effective or sort of central to the story. We're in sort of a limited third person perspective, and it's a little bit omniscient to hop around to other characters, right? Focus on sort of just the general story of the world, and really the central axis of it is Makima. It's the Makima show. And then Denji is there as kind of this central player of the Denji Makima drama that unfolds. But it sweeps up all these other characters in it, and all their story threads are expounded upon and looked at. And Denji, as the protagonist, is really on a wild ride and is much like he is in part 2, sort of reacting to stuff that he doesn't have a lot of control over. But he does have moments of agency, and he does some cool stuff. And in part 2, he doesn't get to do that. He doesn't get to do that. Part 2, that's not what happens with Denji. Denji is a tough protagonist, and in part 2, he gets put into the loathed position of the protagonist who's not doing a good job, right? And throughout the ages, these kind of characters, everybody, they don't like them. They don't like the people. I don't like this guy. Which is, by the way, as victim blaming. But, this human nature. Blaming the victims is just it's a psychological way out. You know what I mean? You gotta yell at the guy who's suffering. Otherwise, it's just sad. If there was nothing he could do, then this just sucks. And you're just looking at a shitty situation and being like, man, dang, right? And it's, I think I do respect the idea of doing it in a story, and is not the only person who's ever tried to do it in a story. Shinji. Shinji's the other classic one. Everybody's favorite victim to blame in the circumstances of Evangelion. Even Shinji has a little bit more agency. However, ultimately futile in the face of human instrumentality. Or I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. Very reminiscent. Yeah, lots of people don't like Shinji because he's like having a bad time and then can't really do anything about it. And so it's just sort of like, well, tough shit, kid. You know, when artists get very expressive of like their own suffering, people tend to get very like, well, I suffer too, and I'm not reading a book to suffer because I suffer all the time anyway. And it's like, yeah, but like, what about like art? You know what I mean? This doesn't resonate with you at all. You don't get where Denji's at. You know what I mean? Maybe not. You're not the same way. And maybe there, I mean, there's obviously problems with the way Denji is, and the story is not remiss to point all those things out and comment on them and excruciatingly drag you through the mud to explain exactly what the fuck is so wrong with being a stupid, horny dumbass like Denji. And why these people are dragged around and stomped on and manipulated and abused and discarded and disregarded, and why their quest for fulfillment is ultimately fruitless. You know what I mean? But that's the world that we live in. The world is built on these types of guys and other people. Fujimoto's just focusing on this one circumstance of a young man. He's still in Shonen Jump. He's still riding his feelings about the young men. You know what I mean? And Chainsaw Man. The youthful superhero archetype. What's all that about? Tati Fujimoto's commentary in 97 really, really exciting pages, and then like another 140 chapters that are like really something just bizarre. Just odd. But it is a rich commentary. It is a cool perspective, and it is a cool way to do it. But it's not it ain't like anything else. We'll get to that in just a second, but yeah, that's another aspect of it. Denji's tough. Denji's a tough character. He's not really like a good guy. He doesn't really care about like the heroic stuff, like, saving people's lives per se. If there's someone in danger around him, he'll try to save them, but he's not like that committed to it. You know what I mean? He's in it for the chicks, pretty much, and he doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the fate of the universe or whatever, or like at the end, when the fate of humanity is in his hands, and he's like, you know what? I'm not getting laid in either of these worlds, so I'm gonna do my own thing. I mean, that's, his saying he just wants to get laid is reductive, because he wants to live a happy, normal life. But in his mind, that includes like getting laid, having a girlfriend, you know what I mean? These are the things that he wants from his existence, what he pursues, his vision for a life to live. And I mean, come on, guys, everybody's trying to fuck. What are we doing here? Chainsaw Man community, what are we doing here? You guys aren't trying to fuck? I mean, shout out to all the ace folks out there. You know what I mean? If you're not, you're not. But like, many are. Am I lost? Am I confused? What's going on? What is this thing? Denji wants to have sex. Very bad. He should stop wanting to. That's not what he really wants. Doesn't he? He doesn't want to. He seems like he does. Now it won't, of course, live up to his imagination. This is the hedonistic treadmill of desire. It's never as good as you imagined, But like also, uh, people still like to do it a lot and pursue it, and it's like an understandable drive that humans have and share, even as there is horror and bad things attached to it. It's not just good, but it's not like it's not the it's Denji's. It's not a moral failing for Denji to be horny. You know what I mean? That's not a breach of any kind of conduct or anything. He doesn't do anything. That's the thing. That's what I really don't get. Everybody's so fucking mad at Denji. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. I remember, he was with Asa and Yoru was dragging him through the city, blowing people up, and held him at gunpoint with like her finger gun that can destroy a city block. People were like, Denji, what are you doing? I'm like, he's not doing anything. And maybe he should try harder or something, but like, that is actually victim blaming. Watching things happen to somebody and being like, well, why didn't you do anything about that? It's like, bad things are happening to him. Or why didn't you respond the right way when these bad things were happening to you? What? Come on, guys. What the fuck? And it never stopped. It never stopped till the end. No one got it. Everyone just thought, people still, at this final stage, they still don't get it. Denji is a victim in this story. Right? Chainsaw Man is not a story of victims achieving actualization and breaking the cycle. Right? Maybe it could have been if things had gone down with Nayuta differently. But that's the point to be made. Why do these cycles continue? The institutions make them continue. It's not just a matter of like, your mom should have been nicer. Maki became the way she was because of what happened to her in the public safety system. That was like the whole point at the end of part 1. And we go into part 2, and all of those institutions are still just there, and they're still just doing their thing, and nothing has happened to change them. And so everything just keeps on churning. Old wheel keeps on turning. And then she remains the victim because of who he is, because he's Chainsaw Man. Because of the power that his existence represents. That is to say, the ability for a young man to become forces of destruction. War. Come on, guys. War, devil. Third big thing about part 2, it's the Yoru show, baby. I mean, we all knew it here. Yoru wins. Of course, Yoru wins. Of course, Yoru wins. Who Oh. And she lost the bugs. It is what it is. Bugs are too strong. Bugs are more powerful than war. Everybody, if you really know ball, it's true. You know what I mean? Nuclear annihilation, cockroaches. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Bugs don't care. So yes, bugs are stronger than war. But Yoru won the whole fucking story. You know what I mean? She lost the battle against the infinite bugs at the end, but You know, everything went her way. She got everything she wanted. Like, world full of endless war, and everybody was doing endless war too. Like, they were so down to do it too. Of course. War rules everything around me. War rules the entire world. War is like the core industry of the entire planet right now. Apparently. Okay. You know, I think again, it's a really good analysis. It's really well constructed through a narrative framework of like the way that war touches on people's lives and the role that it has in our relations between each other, and like the mindset, the not human mindset, but like the devils, they are like humanity if you like pushed it away, pushed it further, you know. You already talk about how she doesn't feel any guilt, right? Like, you remove that moral element from humanity, but it's still like the human reasoning. And the human reasoning behind war, that is captured in Yoru, where like she cares about stuff. She has these emotions, but then that just leads her to believe that she has the right to do anything she wants because her feelings are true. And so she will follow her feelings and do everything and kill anybody and take anything and destroy everything. And she's just loving life the whole time. She just wants to be more powerful and be the strongest. Everybody's afraid of her. No one can stop her. That's all she wants. That's war. And how does she do it? She robs two youths of their autonomy, and she manipulates them and abuses them, and she like kills infinite people, and she destroys the United States of America. That's, I mean, thanks for saying it, man. Thanks for putting it out there. I appreciate that Fujimoto went in to comment on like the relationship between the war machine and the United States of America. I said, oh, by the way, like the people in the United States, yeah, they are just chum. Like they don't get anything. They just get ground into fucking paste, and they just turned into weapons and just like flung as fodder, as actual like meat fuel for spirit bombs that the U.S. government drops wherever it wants. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. True. All correct. He's already spot on. It's just like, yeah, man. Everybody knows it. You know what I mean? Thanks for saying it, though. But, yeah, I mean, yep. Everyone is aware now. I mean, back in 2018, Chainsaw Man was really hidden because we were all high. Like, the libs were high on their own supply, and they were kind of running shit even as Donald Trump was, like, around. They were still kind of being like, for the greater good, da-da-da-da, national security, da-da-da-da. Now they're just like, yeah, we need to vaporize these Iranian children. More Iranian children need to be vaporized. And it's like, oh. Yeah, it's sort of tough to do commentary about that. I mean, these guys are just super evil, and they're just doing their evil plans. That's not good. Right? So, maybe, I mean, if he hadn't taken a 2-year break, which no love lost. We'll look back. I mean, please take as many look back type of breaks as you want. Honestly, just fucking take a real break, man. Make some movies, dude. Make some movies. Directed by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Oh my god, we're locking in. Anyway, That's a discussion for the next episode. Maybe. Or maybe not. We haven't got the last segment. But the point is, part 3 was your show. Your won. I won. I mean, it was just everything I could have wanted. He was writing the story for me specifically. I got it from the very beginning. It wasn't fucking hard to tell. Fucking page 98. Or chapter 98. It was like, I'm the War Devil. This story's about me. Ugh. I wonder what this story's going to be about. That was about the War Devil and her role in the end of humanity. And then Denji was there. Oh. And that's the 4th thing. This is such a weird story. The protagonist doesn't do anything. I don't know, man. I mean, he said he liked the Big Lebowski. And I mean, yeah. You know. Denji is a very Lebowski type character. He's just a guy. He's nobody special. I mean, he's less than nobody special. He's in the dregs. He is a disrespected, disregarded, kind of loser guy. You know? Much like the dude. He's just kind of going around, doing his thing, trying to chill, fuck, eat. You know? Nothing special. Truly nothing special. Truly there's nothing special about this guy. Truly there's nothing remarkable about Denji. In fact, he's less than remarkable. He's unremarkable. He is the type of individual in society who is loaded with disdain. He is broke. He is uneducated. He's I already said broke. He's broke, uneducated, and it shows. People are like, I wanted to see Denji's fun school life. No, that is not. Denji does not have to get fun at school. Denji gets bullied at school. Denji gets ignored at school. He gets harassed by his teachers at school. That's the kind of shit that happens to this kind of person. It's not good. It's bad. Society treats these people badly, as it did. And then it didn't change. Society didn't change. Nothing changed about Denji's status in society. In fact, it got worse. He went up, because he was like a public safety guy, up, and then he lost the public safety gig. Because, oh wow, Makima, he fucked up the whole Makima thing. Well, that public safety says now he's nothing. He's nothing again. Now he's just garbage again. Now he's an actual garbage trash guy again. Chop him up and throw him in the dumpster. You know what I mean? That's Denji. And we just kind of follow that guy around. In part 1, it was sort of like, had that kind of like, oh, he's getting traction. Oh, he's doing better. Oh, we're rising. And then that turned out to be all be fake, and it was a scam, and it was manipulation, and it was a trap, and you lose everything, and you get nothing. But maybe you have the hope for a better world. Well, no. Nope. You don't. That is one thing I do wonder. Part 1 had this like through line of some kind of hope, and the part 2 is not. That feels like a mindset shift. You know what I mean? A mindset shift. But we'll see still. We'll see still. Who even knows? There's still a few pages left. But yes, the 4th thing about part 2, it is just odd doing a story where your protagonist like is just sort of floating along. I mean, it really opens it up, I will say. Like, when you have a story where like the protagonist's actions are the driver of what is occurring, then like, you know, it does get kind of predictable because you sort of know everything about the protagonist and you know their motivations and that what they do matters the most. So you just sort of, it's very like, you know, it's kind of one-dimensional in that way. You have this axis of the of the protagonist is running through the narrative. You follow it, and by the end of the story, you can sort of tell where the protagonist is headed, what they're going to do, and what the ideas around the protagonist's development are. So, like, how the themes conveyed to the protagonist should develop. But that's not how it is in part 2. There's lots of, like, interesting themes. There's lots of social commentary. There's lots of political analysis. There's lots of, like, character threads in there to consider. But mostly, like, it's other people doing stuff. Denji, the major plot points, there's not really any of them. They're like, and then Denji did this, and that changed everything. That doesn't really happen. But Denji's the guy we're locked in on. It's odd. It's such an odd thing to do. But on the other side, that means that you really don't know how it's gonna go, right? Because, like, you're learning about Denji, you're seeing him develop, you're understanding his situation and, like, how it's changing, how that's affecting him. But that's not gonna matter to the events of the story. Because the actual of, like, the plot events of the story are all about, like, other characters doing things. Pochita, War Devil, Asa, Yoshida, Barem, Death. They all do stuff. Fumiko, they all do stuff to him. They all drag him around and they tell him their story and they tell him who they are and they say, Chainsaw Man, save me. And he's like, huh? Bro, I'm Horty. I'm bricked up. I can't focus right now. I need 20 minutes. Legitimately a plot point in the story. Oh, God. He's such just like a shitty... He's just a normal shitty guy. Including the homoeroticism and internalized homophobia. Including that. He's just a normal shitty guy. He's just some shitty dude who can't read. Right? And the world chews him up and spits him out, and we just sort of watch. People call it, like, you know, suffering voyeurism or whatever. Like, we're observing this guy's suffering for our entertainment. That's fucked up. He's not real, though. You know, we're considering the condition of this type of person. And, not good. It's a bad condition. Which is true. Which is right. And if you think that that is bad and that things should be different, the story very apparently agrees with you, right? If you are looking at this protagonist and you'll be like, wow, his shit's all fucked up and his mind is getting all fucked up and he's all fucked up because of the way that the world is and what has happened to him and how he's being treated. And all he wanted was just to get it in and just, like, chill, basically. But he wanted to be a superhero. He had the dreams. He had the ambitions, you know. He's just a normal shitty guy. Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough out there for a shitty dude. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck, and many people will say that you deserve to suffer because you're a shitty dude, you know. And look at that, and look at that, and would you look at that? Well, will Denji suffer or not, or what? I mean, he did, and it sucked, and he got all fucked up, but that's all over now. Chainsaw Man has been erased. Pochita did a never mind on the narrative and said, yeah, we're good here. It's the most B-movie garbage I've ever seen. I love this guy. He does not care. He actually doesn't care. He loves the fucking shitty movies, man. He actually likes them. He thinks they're good. They are good. I'm with you. I'm with you, Fujimoto. I'm there. This shit rules. Bugs 8, everybody. Sorry, guys. World's bugs now. World's bugs. It's over. Yoru may have won, but bugs, I mean, it's unstoppable. World's bugs, Pochita said, we're resetting. What are we doing here? Part 3. Could be. Who knows? Personally, I don't know. I mean, there are things that I would have liked. What the hell? Why did you bring Reze back to life? What was that about, man? That's still my biggest question mark. Of like, man, I feel like Reze would have popped off in part 2. And he brought all the other characters back. And then just not raise it. Which is that's very part 3 smell. Smells like part 3 from here. And he is a fucking movie loser. I mean, and he has been incredibly self-indulgent through part 2. I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it. And it would be insanely self-indulgent to just run a part 2 like that. And then just be like, and now I'm doing part 3. And I'm going to do the trilogy. So, I don't know. Maybe. But he might just like not want to do it. I mean, the conditions of manga production have only gotten worse over time. Because nothing was done to make them better in any regard. Labor rights in Japan have only deteriorated, not gotten better, because there is no political movement supporting them. There's a communist. Yeah. We all know how communism is doing these days. They're right, but they're not doing too good. So, could be a part 3. Could be a kind of open-ended, maybe there'll be a part 3. That would be fucking funny, wouldn't it? I mean, well, no. I feel like he'd hit us with it. If he was gonna do it. If he felt like doing it. But we'll see. There's all the rumors, and this guy tweeted that, and that guy tweeted this. Nobody knows. Well, by now, by the time we release this video, I mean, the editors have the manuscripts in their hands, presumably. Maybe as we speak, Sunday afternoon. It's about right. That's why I'm recording on early Sunday morning here. So it's Sunday afternoon on the streets of Tokyo. Taxi Fujimoto watched Hoppers and enjoyed it. Everybody check out Hoppers. And he is done with part 2. He's moving on. What's going to happen? I bet part 3. I'm just going to say it. I'm feeling it. And he's got everything lined up, too, for a really good part 3. He's got the part 2 that's all like angsty and fucked up, and like very like ooh intellectual thinking themes and such. Yeah, that's always like the second part. That's like the middle part in the trilogies where you do that kind of stuff. And then later on, it was like the middle part is the best one because it's all intellectual themes and such. And then later on, after that, it was like actually the first one was the best because that was like basically the foundational idea. And even though it developed interestingly in the second part, I mean, the first part is just goated, and that's just what it is. And the debate continues in perpetuity. So will we actually get will he do his own Star Wars? He could. You could do it, man. You've got the setup here, and he still has a bunch of characters lying around. Blood Devil, Reze, Asa, Yoshida. Yeah. It's a lot of interesting stuff to do here. And he's got a Denji who has been torn away from the thing that was sort of like his lack of agency. You know what I mean? Pochita. The thing that really turned Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man was not the Denji. It's just at the very end, Denji became Chainsaw Man for real. And now it's over. Or is it over? Or is it over? I'm feeling part 3 in the air. I'm feeling the motion in the ocean here. And it would be a really interesting starting point for where we are now to go forward. So that's what I think, but who knows? Who knows? We don't know. It could truly go either way. I don't have any I think whatever happens, this guy is a great author and he wrote a really interesting story in part 2 that has somehow it has like, I don't know, probably like maybe 50 pages left if we're generous. Probably more around like 20. Let's be honest, he's probably putting in another 20 pages. All right. We'll see if he can put in the extra effort one last time for the very last chapter of part 2. I mean, it'd be so funny if it was like 10 pages long. Just do it, dude. Just fuck it, dude. Incredible. But regardless, this guy has really has a way with last pages. And we'll see what it is. Maybe it is begin part 3. Or maybe it's open-ended. And he just kind of... You know what I mean? Because it would be kind of like... No one thought he was going to do part 2 after he did part 1. Which so it was like, surprising. Whoa. But also, like, people low-key don't think he's going to do part 3 after part 2. I kind of do. He seems like the kind of guy who would do that. That's the only reason. It just seems like the kind of guy who would do that. And he just wants to have his trilogy. Because he's like, I mean, look at this guy. Look at how he acts and how he has written about movies in his fucking works. I mean, the guy's got it bad. He's delusional. And we love it. And we love it. And we will be back here for it, talking about the final chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 2. Now that it's all said and done, I can actually get a sense of what the fuck is going on. We will be discussing it for a while. I'm going to be discussing Eddie for a while. I'm going to try and go around to a few different people and have some full-scale discussions of what people like, what people didn't like, what people think about the story. I want to hear what people think the story is. I'm very interested because that is the point where I was like, I can't comment publicly about this story right now because it's not really meaningful information coming from me, because I don't know what the hell this thing even is. So we're gonna have to go back through it. It is cool. It's cool. It's super interesting. What an absolutely bizarre ride it has been. Thank you for everyone who comes back to enjoy this return for one last hurrah. Going back through it, these are my thoughts on what part 2 was, what it is, regardless of what it means going forward. That's what it was from my perspective. And there's a lot of stuff I didn't go over. I mean, I didn't really talk about Asa or Yoshi or this and that or that and this or the public safety or Quan Chi or this guy puts so much shit in his fucking stories. It's impossible to tell what the hell is going on. That's true. He just throws a bunch of shit in there and goes to town. It's awesome. It's awesome. Narrative arcs mean nothing in this realm. And that's why we don't know what the hell's gonna happen in about 3 days. But I will be there, and we will be talking about it here at the Public Safety Special Podcast. Don't get eaten by bugs if you have been eaten by bugs and you're still listening. That's horrific. That's horrible. That's horrible. And the world is horrible. Thank you all for listening. We will see you next time.